I do remember my mother telling me that when they had that questionnaire, the loyalty questionnaire, and my dad had just been released from Missoula, and that questionnaire came around, and he refused to sign yes to the two questions, and one about bearing arms against an enemy and forsaking any allegiance to the Emperor of Japan. And he was so angry that he just refused to sign yes, and the rumors are going around, if you don't sign yes, you're going to be taken away and sent to Tule Lake or sent back to Japan in exchange for Americans trapped in Japan. And my mom said, she pleaded with him and said, sign yes. What would you do in Japan? You can speak Japanese, but you can't read or write Japanese. What would the family do if you had to go to Japan? And she said, I'd rather hang myself than go to Japan. And my dad got so angry, he said, go get a rope, go ahead. And but he did finally sign yes to the two questions. And I think Reverend Emory Andrews from the Baptist Church played a big part in convincing him that he should think of his family first and sign yes on those two questions. So I know he was just really angry about what happened to him. I have a few personal memories. They're all memories that kids would have if they do something wrong. I remember being scalded by hot water in the mess hall because I was running around and bumped into a woman who was serving hot water for tea. And I remember every time an adult sees me that used to know me in concentration camp in Manzanar, they say, oh, you're that little kid that used to hang on to your mother's dress all the time and was crying all the time. I felt really sorry for your mother, so I must have just cried constantly while I was there. And it's not only one or two people that have said that to me, so I know this has got to be true. I know everybody talks about the dust being there, and how the bread was covered in sand in the mess hall line, and how you'd be chewing on sand rather than food when you ate, and they talk about having to take these canvas bags and stuff them with straw to make their mattresses, and so although I don't remember it personally, I'm sure that it was really a tough situation. Being one of the first groups there, I'm sure that a lot of the facilities weren't up to snuff yet as far as toilet facilities and the barracks and so forth, that they were still building a lot of the things that we got there. And the conditions were probably not as good as they were maybe later on, although they probably still weren't very outstanding. I know my mom said that first week there, everyone got diarrhea. And then I remember somebody calling it the Manzanar runs. But she said that this elderly Issei first-generation woman came up to her and said, they're going to poison us and we're all going to die, and we'll never leave this place. And my mother told her she didn't think that was true because she didn't think America was that way. And, it was the food rather than the fact they were actually trying to poison us. So, but that feeling probably was real to some of the older people there because they didn't know how they'd be treated.